Hi, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me. And as you saw in the previous pictures, I'm going to show you how to do this cake pop-up card. So I found this on YouTube, but someone was making it from scratch. I've converted it into Canvas Workspace, so let me show you how it's done. First of all, I am going to move this one over here. Now we're going to start with a rectangle, square, rectangle, whatever. We're going to change the shape regardless. And this outer rectangle here, we won't be cutting, but we're using it as a size guide because this is to fit an A5 card. So I need the size of an A5 card from the inside. Now, I only knew this in centimeters, so I had to convert it. So I'm just going to tell you the sizes exactly. So the width is 5.9 and the height is 8.25, and that's going to give you an A5 card. Now if you want a mat, then just offset, and I've done inward on a 12, except we want bevel. And there's our mat piece. So next we want some rounded rectangles. You get 3 rounded rectangles. Okay, so you get one with small corners, then you get one with larger corners, so it's kind of more rounded. Let me put them over here so you can see the difference. It's kind of more rounded like that. And then this one, which is kind of concave, the corners are straight and the lines are curved, so it's a bit different. This is the one I want, and we want 3 going up in tiers. So let's shut that down like this. 1, 2, 3. Now I've sized them so that the first one is 4 3/4 by 3. That's the size of the first one, so that there's still a fair gap each side. Then if you duplicate that, you can make the next one 3 3/4. So I've gone down an inch each time, and I've gone down ½ an inch here. So this one is by 2.5. So that goes there. And then if you duplicate again, this one is going to be 2 3/4 by 2. And then you are going to grab everything and make sure they're centered. Obviously these can go up a little bit more, so let's just do that first. They can go up a little bit more, and then we'll center them again, make sure they're in the right spot. And there we go. That's your 3 layers of card, like on here. What we're going to do is duplicate them all. So layer, duplicate, and put them over here. That's in case you want layers to put on. You don't want them offset mats, you want them the same. So I've duplicated them. Okay, now the next thing we want a strip and a square. So the strip, you want 5 3/4 by 0.75, and that is going to be the mechanism. So what we need there, I'm just going to move all this out the way for a second because we need our X and Y's. So make sure your X and Y is on 0, 0 when you're using them. So we want a score line at ½ an inch. It's about right. So make sure the X is on 0.5. And the next one has to be 5.25 because we're coming ½ an inch in. So there we go. And then change them to the score lines. And I am just going to group them so I don't lose the scores. And that is going to go in the middle of that. So we need to align it through the middle, so we know it's actually in the middle. Then we need 2 squares that are 1 inch width by 0.5 wide. There we go. And we want 2 of them. And what these are going to be are tabs. So let's move in closer so I can show you what we want. These little squares here are the middle of this strip, and you want to put that so that it's on the black line. I mean, it doesn't matter too much, I guess. It's just a way of making sure that both these strips are the same point. And you need a little space between these two so that this strip is going to fit through the middle of it. And then you're going to grab both strips and the rectangle and you're going to weld. And then we want 2 score lines there. So 1, 2. There we go. So that's the main mechanism. We just want one more thing, and we still need it down here. And this one needs to be 1 inch by 2 inches. It's going to keep this strap. It's easy to explain when we're on the craft table, but it's like to control the tab so that it's stuck down and not lifting up. You can, like I said, you can do it a lot smaller if you want. If we display zoom to mat size, because what I'm going to do with that is also take it up here. Again, make sure it's on 0, 0, and then these tabs have got to be at 1/2 inch and 1.5 inch on the Y. So that's only on 42. We need to go down to 0.5, which is 1/2 inch. Path tool. Always double click at the end. Done the same, exactly the same. 1.5. Change to a score line, and there we go. Control G or layer group, and you see there's just enough space in between for the tab to move, and that's how that works. Okay, so that's the main mechanism. Now I'm going to show these borders, 1, 2, 3, and the candles I'm about to show you now. First of all, the borders are literally from the borders, so you can see there's that one there and that one there. Now for this one, I brought it right down in size, made it a bit heavier like that, and duplicate. You can get a bit closer to make sure you've got it spot on in the middle. Look, because I haven't. It looked like it from far away. So you can see that one has to move just a little bit. There we go. Now we'll just make sure that it's aligned through the middle again and weld. There we go. So display, zoom to mat size, and then we're going to bring it down a little bit so that it fits nicely on the bottom. It can come a little bit more. And then we are going to duplicate that for the top layer, but we're just going to make it a lot smaller, but a little bit deeper too. So that's the top one. And then this one, we're just going to keep it as it is, but size it down to the right size. Just so we've got a little bit of different icing in the center one. And that is how it will look. I've coloured it and done everything just so that you can see the difference. Okay, now if you want mats, then you would do these as just mats. How I've done the candles, you can also do for the mats, but if I show you the candles, then you'll, well, okay, so the first thing you would do is offset inward. Now it's got to be round because the corners are rounded, and you get that. And then you would subtract so that there's nothing on the inside, it's just the frame. And that is when you would add whatever pattern you want to add inside it, if you want to put a pattern on the top. I'll show you how I done the candles because we're moving on to them next. But it's the same theory, you just have to do it with the rectangles. you could do all the same. So now the candles. First of all, the main candle. We're going to go back to the shapes, and we are going to use the smaller rounded rectangle. And then we're going to go down to the funny shapes at the bottom, and we want this one here. So first of all, let's go over here. First of all, we're going to turn this 90 degrees. And we are going to make it a lot smaller, but a lot thinner. And then this one, you want to make it a little bit narrower, so it's more like a flame. And make sure it fits to the size. I've got no definite sizes for this, I just kind of eyed it. And then you want to make sure that they're centrally aligned and weld with only the tip, just the tip, over the rectangle, and then weld. And that's the main candle. I'm just going to undo that for a second because I forgot, because I want it exactly the same size. Before you weld, duplicate that. Now we can weld. And this one we are going to offset inward round like that. Do the same as I've just shown you. So you subtract. So there's nothing in the inside. It is just a frame. See? Nothing on the inside. Now I chose stripes and stars. They seem to be the main thing that candles come in. So I used this star and I used this to do the stripes. So let's duplicate that so I can show you how to do both. So the stripes, probably the easiest thing. We are going to do that at an angle of 45 degrees. And then we need to start making sure they fit into, let's get a bit closer so I can show you. You want to make sure the first one goes over the inside corner. And then you can see we need to bring it in a little bit so it fits nicely. Go up a little bit more. And then we are going to duplicate that. And duplicate them. See how many we got then. Now if you are a perfectionist and you want it shaped so that they're all even, then you can grab them all, hold shift and let go of the frame, and then you could actually use this button here that vertically distributes, and then it's even. Hold shift and grab the frame again like that and weld, and there is your shape for your candle that you can cut out and put on top. So that's if you want a stripy candle. If you want the stars, I played with this a little bit and I found it easier to turn the stars a bit more round. They seem to fit better. They're still a bit big, so let's make it a bit smaller. Okay, so there I've made sure 3 points. Let's make sure that one's in the middle. And then if we duplicate, so that we know the next one is like that. So you're making sure that each one goes over the point of the frame and the next star. And then if we duplicate both of them, we should be able to move them together. I actually think if we duplicate all of them, I think that's just the same thing again. Now they're all kind of in place. So I'm going to grab them all, take away the frame, and do the same thing I've done there. So the last one is in the right place, the first one is in the right place. And now they're all evenly distributed. Just make sure they're all attached to the next one down. Okay, let's try that. So when you're satisfied that it's in the place you want, there we go. You've got all stars. I will colour it just so that you can see. There, that's now you can see what it is. Maybe I haven't left enough room there. But then that's a star one there that you can also use. Let's display, zoom to matte size. I feel like that star one. That star one looks like a better one. Let's compare them. Feels like the stars are better placed there. So I will leave that one in the files and not this one, because this one is a little bit better. Okay, so that is all the parts that you're going to need. You don't need to cut out this big rectangle because that is just that we can use for size. An A5 card is just an A4 piece of card folded in half. If you want to, if you cut out 2 of these, we'll have one for the front as well. And I'm just going to do a simple stamped, because you want most of the enjoyment to be when they open the card. So you want the front to be fairly plain. But if you do a piece for the front, and then I'll show you what I decided to do as well. Okay, I will see you over at the craft table. Okay, so I'm over at the craft table. I've got my A4 piece scored and folded in half. I don't know about most of you, but the score line is very difficult to do. So I suggest getting a scoreboard that has the actual proper lines on it. So like this, I've got the Ultimate Pro. It's years and years old, but I still love it and I still go to it all the time. You can see how bashed up it is, but it has the actual folds for the ones that are difficult. So half fold A4 to make an A5 card. It's a lot simpler because an A4 card is not quite 30 centimetres, it's just short of it. So it's very difficult to get the exact half fold. So anyway, that's that done. Then I've got all my pieces here. So it's on a white card, and I've also already put the mats on. And my candles I've already done. I cut them out in white card. There you go. Coloured the tips yellow and then used silver to cut out the stripes. And I've used all stripes. I didn't alternate or anything. So now I am just going to do folds in all of these. You want them to be a little bit curved because that's what you want them to do eventually. Actually, do you know what I might do is just use this glue bottle to try and curl it a little bit. That's a bit better. Okay, so that's the 3 parts. Now first thing is the easy bit, your layers. I've done 2 layers instead of just 1. So I've got that one with that. Oh, that will be on the front and inside, so I'll just quickly glue that. So there we go, both the same. Now to prep. Okay, so to put the parts together, what we need to do, we need to stick that there so that it comes through the middle of these 2, and then they're going to go back and stick there. This has to come up to the score line, and we're going to put glue down and stick it there like this. Now I've done this on my practice one. There's my practice one. I kept the front very simple, and then it opens like this. You can see the mess here because I didn't do anything in the right order. So I wanted to be sure. I stuck it all together and then realised things that I'd missed out. Also, I put the candles under the icing, which looks fine on the big one, but when you go to the small one, let me turn it that way, you can see the bumps. So I don't think that's a good idea either. So to get ready, we need to put the candles on, then stick them together, then put the icing on, and then we will fit it all together on the card. So I've done 12 candles so that I can do 5, 4 and 3. And we're going to stick them behind, just behind like that. So I'm going to turn it over because it's easier to do it like this. Okay, I will fast forward it because you can see what I'm doing. Okay, there you go. So that's the candles. Oh, I've lost one. That's the candles on the cake, and now we'll put the icing on. And that is basically, literally, just sticking them on and trimming them down. Again, with this one, I trimmed them down while they were on there, and look at the mess of it. It is not great cutting, so do it while they're still here. I've done it so that they can be trimmed down a little bit, because you want them to be looking good. And there we go, so that's the icing. Now before we add all the mechanism, I want to stick them together now. It feels a lot easier to me. So literally just glue along the bottom. The only thing here is you've got to make sure that when it's all together, it's going to not go over the card, the top of the card. So just stick that one down. And make sure that you space it out evenly so that it's in the middle. Like that. There we go, and then the candles don't go over the top. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to stick this bit on the back. So that's ready. So you're going to stick it so it's in a straight line, and then you're making sure that it goes through the middle of these two here. And then, so we're going to open this up and lie this so that it is just before the score line. And then you see this bit here with the 2 score lines. You don't actually have to fold these score lines, but you're going to glue both outside of the score lines because this is going to hold this in check. So it goes over, and that stops it bouncing up when you pull it. It holds it down. And then just glue on there to stick down. And I've still got this on the outside. That bit didn't stick. And we'll leave that to stick for a little while. I'm going to, actually that's fine, there we go, Mod Podge. I'm going to stick that down hard because that was the most difficult bit for me to stick. Now to go on the front, like I said, you always want something simple. So on this one I just put happy 18th birthday. On this one I've used, so it's a new Made to Surprise collection. Although it was for Christmas, I thought it would work perfectly as just the front of this. And what I might do is put a happy birthday on the front. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if just the presents might be a great idea. But I layered it up a little bit. I honestly think just a happy birthday or some kind of sentiment is enough. But this time I just went with some presents. I do love Made to Surprise, in case you weren't aware. Actually, this is something I saw her making, but not, I transferred it to canvas, but it was from an idea she had that I got this. So it's still sticking. And then what we're going to do is just close them two and stick that down. So while that is, I'm going to just make sure that score is firm. And then we want these two tabs make sure it's lined up straight, and then we're going to close the card. There we go. It might have been better to do the side tabs before the folded. Stuck in the wrong way. Yeah, it might be better to have stuck them before that. I guess after you've done a few, you learn the easiest ways to do it. I see the problem there, there's no glue at the top. Okay, there we go. So I think I got it right that time. Yeah, so maybe do the tabs. I'll show you on here. Do them tabs before you do that tab. Make that the last thing you do. So, that might look nice with just a bow on the top or something. I don't know. But anyway, you can leave it as plain and simple as you want, because you want the surprise to be when they open the card. Okay, that's still sticking. Okay, the glue's still a bit wet, so I'm just helping it along for now. but you want the surprise to be on the inside like that. So that's a lovely idea, and it was very simple to do on the Scan and Cut. Like I said, it was an idea I got from YouTube, from Sam Calcott. But I just transferred it as a file to do on Scan and Cut. Right, I think that's a bit better now. No, it still needs... Okay. Might be nice to add little embellishments on the cake parts, but I kind of like the candles. I do. I like this idea. I think it's a great idea. So anyway, that's the different ways I've done it. I hope it helps in some way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.